Today I'm going to tell you about a fantasy thriller about the supernatural. The plot of the movie is very strange, and the reversal at the end is really shocking. If there really is a god in the world, what does he look like? Lisa and John have wandered into the forest. Their usual duty is to inspect and take samples, but this time there was a fatal accident. Lisa was using her drone to scan the road, but then a figure suddenly appeared on the monitor, and then the drone lost its signal. They realized there might be poachers in the forest, so Lisa decided to go ashore to see what was going on. John said he'd stay behind to continue the patrol. Then they agreed to meet up in an hour. Deep in the forest, two savages were carrying a drone on their backs. It was obvious that the people Lisa had just seen were them. Then they crouched down and started setting traps to catch small animals to feed on, and the mushrooms that grow everywhere are also their food, but they have to wear masks before they pick them, because the mushrooms emit a spore powder. This powder is extremely dangerous in the forest. Humans will be mutated if they are exposed to it. Only when the spore powder has dissipated, they can pick the mushrooms and take them away. Lisa didn't get very far before she got lost in the forest. She accidentally stepped into a trap set by the savages. She had to call John for help, but the man was somewhere gathering information. He didn't have a walkie-talkie with him. When there was no response, Lisa had no choice but to save herself. Her screams of pain alerted John at work. Sensing that his companion might be in danger, John quickly returned to the boat, but he slipped his walkie-talkie into the water. This left him with no choice but to find another way. On the other side, Lisa briefly bandaged her wounds. Then she began to look for a way out. As the sky grew darker, a brilliant red color appeared in front of us. At this time, the terrible spore powder flew everywhere, but Lisa was oblivious to this. She didn't have time to think too much. She had to head for the light. Soon after, she saw a small cabin at the end. Lisa didn't hesitate to go in, perhaps because of her injuries. She began to cough violently. She coughed up a seed in her mouth. In an instant, Lisa suddenly woke up from her dream. It turned out that she had had a nightmare for a very short time. Then the two savages from the daytime broke into the house. The old man pulled out a weapon. After confirming that Lisa was not a threat, the tension in the room was eased. After a brief introduction, the older man called himself Paul. The other man's name was Jack. They were father and son. They had been living in the forest for a long time. The two men didn't give Lisa a hard time. They were kind enough to treat her